Mm.
This is the Mac Daddy here, and I think I'm going to call this video the hated Bear Creek Arsenal AR15 upper review. Now I call it the hated Bear Creek Arsenal because it's pretty much hated by a small group of people. Now there's a large group of AR15 owners. They came up with a tier list of AR15 manufacturers. They had the low tier, the middle tier, and the upper tier. And Bear Creek Arsenal is right at the bottom of the low tier, along with Palmetto State Armory and Anderson Manufacturing and a couple others. And there's now most of the people in the AR15 community, they don't look down on the companies in the low tier list because they know that it's the bread and butter of the AR15 industry. There's so many AR15s come from those companies every year. That's what makes the AR15 platform so popular, is because you can get such a bargain on some of these guns. But there's a small group inside there that I call the AR15 snobs, and they look down on the low tier manufacturing companies, and they look down on the people who own them. Now, I made a video when I got this, I did an unboxing video when I got this Bear Creek Arsenal BCA, when I got this BCA upper that I ordered, and I made the mistake of posting it on a site, a Facebook site that was called AR15 Poverty Builds or something like that, and I thought that was a place for cheap AR15, so I posted that BCA unboxing, and within about 15 minutes I got lots of nasty comments from these AR15 snobs. And not only did they attack the Bear Creek Arsenal, BCA, they attacked me personally. They said things. They said nasty things about my appearance, about my age, about my social standing, and about my intelligence. They said all kinds of nasty things. So I ended up unsubscribing from that site because the administrators didn't take that crap down. So I'm just going to do I finally had a chance to shoot this gun. I want to do a review on this upper. Now, I bought this upper myself. They didn't send me this upper. It would be nice if somebody's company would start sending me some free stuff for me to test. It'd be great. I'd make sure that I give you very unbiased reviews on them, though, But I bought this myself, so this is my review here. And the first thing when I got this thing is well, wait a minute. We should go over the specs of this rifle here, this upper here first. First of all, this is in caliber 300 Blackout. That's the cartridge it uses. I chose 300 Blackout because I wanted a 30 caliber AR-15. The other two AR-15s I put together, they're in 5.56 NATO. So I wanted something in 30 caliber, and I had a chance to choose between 300 Blackout and 7.62 by 39 Russian, and I chose the 300 Blackout for this AR-15 platform. I may make a video about why I chose 300 Blackout over the 30 Russian cartridge later. So this is a 300 Blackout. It's got a 16-inch barrel. The barrel is made out of 416R stainless. It's nitrided, and it's got these nice spiral flutes in it that are cut in the barrel. One of the reasons why I bought this upper is because I really like the looks of this spiral fluted barrel. They call it BCA. They call this their bear claw fluting. They also make straight flutes on their barrels too. But I like this one better. Now they say that at BCA they say that this is not just for cosmetics. The fluting tends to stiffen the barrel up. It makes the barrel a little lighter because you're taking material off the barrel, and it actually helps to dissipate heat a little better. So that's some of the reasons why you would want to buy one of these, but I bought it because it looks badass. Now if you look further on here, the handguard here is just a basic free-floating handguard. This is a M-LOK system. That's one of the most popular right now, and if you look at this, you'll see that it's got the rail in the back, and it's got a little rail in the front, and it's all smooth up in here. And I like that. It's easy to get your hands on when you're shooting it. I like that. It's nice. It fits nice. It's nice and smooth. The first AR-15 I ever built had a big quad rail on it, and every time I grab that quad rail, it's like grabbing hold of a porcupine, because the thing is, there's a lot of sharp places on the quad rail. But this is nice. I like this handguard. One of the ways that BCA, they keep the prices down on their stuff is that they standardize things, and most of their uppers use this style of handguard. And if I was going to build my own upper, I wouldn't use this handguard because to me it's just a little too difficult to install. The way this thing works is that you have 8 screws holding this on, and all these 8 screws, they screw into the barrel nut. So when you install this barrel nut, you have to not only torque it, but you have to index it so that when you install this upper, the rail on this upper will line up with the rail the rail on this handguard will line up with the rail on your upper receiver. And you got to be careful when you do that, because once you get it indexed, you got to make sure that you also have this barrel nut torqued to the right spec. If you torqued it too low, this barrel nut's going to come loose. And this is one of the complaints that a lot of the owners of these uppers have, is that, well, one, they say that the rail isn't lining up right with the upper, and the other is that their barrel nut came loose. And when the barrel nut comes loose, that's a big deal. They also complain that these 8 screws that hold this handguard on here come loose too. Now, when I first got this, I checked the screws on the handguard, and they were nice and tight. They weren't Loctited, but they were tight. I also checked the screws on the gas block, and they were tight, and they were Loctited with blue Loctite. This has a carbine length gas system, by the way. Now, like I said, they use the same kind of handguard design. They're just different lengths. This is an 11.5-inch handguard. They also sell a 15-inch handguard for a 16-inch barrel. I got the shorter handguard because I wanted to show off this badass barrel. So the only thing that changes on these handguards is that the length, for just depending on what kind of length barrel you got for your upper. Now, this handguard here appears to be tight. Like I said, all the screws were tight, and it lines up perfectly. This upper rail here lines up perfectly with my upper receiver. So they did a good job on this one. So that's good. Now, looking here, you'll notice that this has a side charging bolt carrier group, and I chose that because I like side charging guns. Some people will say, well, you gave up your nice dust cover that you have on a regular AR-15, but I have a lot of guns that don't have dust covers, like a M1 Garand, M1 Carbine, SMLEs. They got no dust cover, so this is fine with me. And I like the side charging. Some people complain, well, you don't have that nice little forward bolt assist thing. Yeah, sure you do. You just knock on the handle for your bolt assist crap. Now, if you'll notice here that this handle here is held on by one screw, and this is a number 5 Torx screw. So you need a number 25 Torx wrench to remove this handle to take the bolt carrier group out of the gun to clean it. Well, I figured that when I bought this upper cost me it was $210, but plus they charged me $28 for shipping, $28, and Florida sales tax. It ended up being $255. That's not a bad deal for a complete upper, including the bolt carrier group. I figured they were going to send me the damn wrench so I could take the bolt out to clean it. So you can imagine my chagrin when I got the upper and there's no wrench in there. So it's not like BCA doesn't sell a wrench. They sell a real nice T-handled number 25 Torx wrench that's made specifically to remove this handle. But I didn't know that at the time. I figured they'd send it to me, bastards. So anyway, it would have been nice if when I put this upper in the shopping basket, if it would have come up with a little notice saying, hey, we're not going to send you the wrench so you can clean your bolt carrier group. So if you want to buy this wrench for $4.99, $5, that's how much they charge. If you're going to buy this wrench, you have to order it now. And then they wouldn't have charged, then it would have been included in the $28 shipping charge. $28 anyway. So the thing is that luckily I got this guy right here. Now, I'm going to show you this bolt carrier group. Now, to do that, I have to remove, I have to take this thing apart. Now, when I put this together, it had a little play, so I put what they call a Accu wedge in this lower here. So it's nice and tight now, but I can't open up the pins, the receiver pins, with my hands anymore. So I got this guy right here. This guy here is a AR15 receiver pin pusher. And when I first got this, my wife made some comments, and she thought the comments were funny, but they weren't. And I'm not going to tell you what the comments were. So I'm going to use this tool to remove this. It's funny that there's in big letters on the end here, right in the top here, it says "Made in Bulgaria." I got this from a place called CDNN for like $3. So let's get this. Works pretty damn good, huh? Not bad here. All right, I took it apart. Okay, now you notice this thing is smooth, right? When I first got it, the first thing I did was I started cycling it, and it was a little gritty, so I put a little lube in the buffer tube here in the spring, the buffer spring, to make sure that it would be nice and smooth. By the way, this lower here I put together myself. This is an Anderson manufacturing lower, another hated manufacturer. The AR-15 snobs like to call Anderson Manufacturing the poverty pony because their logo is a horse. This has a standard 3-ounce carbine buffer and spring in it. So that's important for when you build your rifle. So what I did is after I did that, it was a little smoother, but what I did is I cycled the action manually for about 100 times, and that sort of pre-broke in the rifle before I even shot it. What happened is they didn't send me the wrench, but I got this right here. This is something I got from Harbor Freight years ago for like $7, and this is the number 25 Torx right here. So I'm going to unscrew this thing right here. There we go. You don't have to tighten this up too much. Now, if you look at this handle here, you'll notice that there's a pin here that it uses to hold the handle, and then you have the screw to tighten it up. And this pin here actually takes pressure off with a screw so that the screw doesn't come loose easy. This is actually the second design of the bolt handle. The first design didn't have this extra pin on there to stiffen it up. It just had the screw, and the screw would come loose easy. This is a better design. It works better. So let me take this. Oh, I can't. First you have to take this little plug over here. If you notice this plug, there's a flat spot on this plug that you have to index so it's sitting down here, so your your lower would go there. So you just unscrew this. And you notice there's a nice little rubber O-ring in the bottom of this, and you see the flat thing here. So now you should be able to take this thing apart. Here comes the bolt carrier group. This is a nitrided bolt carrier group. I like nitride finish because it's nice and smooth and slick, and it's cheap. It's cheaper than what do they call that? Nickel boron or whatever they call that stuff, or like a hard chrome or whatever they use. The first thing I look at when I look at a bolt carrier group is I look at the gas key here, and I make sure it's tight. I make sure that the screws on the gas key screws are tight, and I also make sure that the gas key screws are staked properly. And if you can you can see how they're staked. These little marks over here, that's what you call staking, and that keeps the screws from coming loose. And the staking on this is pretty good. I've seen a little better, but I've seen a lot worse. So this is not bad. This bolt carrier group, if I would have bought it alone, because it came with the upper, but if I would have bought it on its own, it would have cost me about $85. That's pretty cheap. Of course, the AR-15 snobs are saying, well, you can't get a bolt carrier group for $85. It must be made out of cheese or something. I don't know. It worked pretty good. I only fired 100 rounds through it, but for 100 rounds, it worked fine. I took this apart. I'm not going to take it apart. There's a lot of videos that'll show you how to take these things apart. So I took it apart, and I looked around on it. And the gas rings look good. When I took the bolt out, I checked the spring tension on the ejector. That was good. The extractor looked good. I took the extractor apart, and there's an extractor spring in here with a little rubber insert in the spring to stiffen it up more. It's good. It's not bad. Now, if you bought the regular rear charging, bolt carrier group from BCA, it's only $69. But then you have to pay like $13 to $15 for the charging handle. This one includes the charging handle. That's pretty good. Now, the other thing that I do when I get a new bolt carrier group, and actually every time that I after I fire the gun and clean it, the bolt carrier group, I check to make sure that these gas rings are good. Okay. Now, you notice the bolt goes in and out. You want to pull the bolt all the way out to test the gas rings, and you just want to stand it up. I have to work on this table here. And you notice that it stood up, and the bolt didn't collapse. That passed. The gas rings on this are good. If it would have collapsed like this, when you just from the weight of the bolt carrier group, it would have went like that. That means your gas rings are getting worn out and they're no damn good. So you got to replace them. Now, what I have here is a spare set of gas rings. Everyone who owns an AR-15 should have at least a set of these laying around. They're only $1 a piece for these gas rings. You need 3 of them for your bolt, and they're very easy to install and remove. So everyone should have these. If you got an AR-15, you don't have some of these gas rings laying around, shame on you. Naughty, naughty, naughty. I like the bolt carrier group. I like this upper. The only turd in the salad bowl for me was that this guy right here. This is your firing pin, retaining pin. And the one that came with this bolt carrier group, it was really hard to get out. I had to pull the damn thing out with pliers. And when I tried to reinstall it after I put the thing back together, it just wouldn't go. So I had to replace it with one of my spare firing pin retaining pins. You guys have firing pin retaining pins spare too, don't you? Okay, here we go. Spare firing pin retaining pins. They look like little cotter pins. Now, if you look around, you can get them for like as little as 60 cents a piece, like how much these cost me. Now, this is another complaint that I hear a lot from about BCA bolt carrier groups is the firing pin retaining pins are lousy on them. They must have a bad supplier, or they're making them themselves, and they're just doing a crap job. I suspect they're just getting a bunch of them from a crappy supplier. So I'm happy with this. If you look at this bolt carrier group, you notice it doesn't have the little sawtooth thing pattern that you would use for your bolt assist, so they don't need to put that in. The machining looks pretty decent on this, and it shot pretty good. Now, when I took this shooting, I had bought 200 rounds of 300 blackout ammo, and the ammo was some Winchester range 125 grain hollow points, basic ammo. And my son and I ended up shooting about 100 rounds. My son shot 60 rounds. I shot about 40 because my son, he gets to shoot more. Now, every time I go to shoot a new rifle like this, the first thing I did was I have a little cradle that's used for shooting bench rest, and I put the rifle in the cradle, and I just put one round in the magazine, and I put the magazine in the gun, and I loaded the round, and I just made sure that just my hand on the pistol grip and my finger on the trigger, everything else was far enough away from the gun in case something bad happened. And I took the shot, and what happened is it fired, the case ejected properly, and the bolt locked open. That's what I wanted to see. That was good news. So then I went and searched down the ejected case. And I looked at that case for things like cracking or bulging or any damage to the case themselves to see that would show that there was something wrong with the chamber. And then I scrutinized the primer. And that's important. You look at the primer. The primer tells you a lot of info. And I looked at primer. The first thing I saw was a good primer strike from the firing pin. There was the primer was not overly flattened. Like I said, the primer strike was good. There was no cratering in the primer strike. There was no primer. The primer wasn't pierced from the strike. The primer wasn't blown out of the pocket, so that was all good. That showed me that the pressures were good, the headspace was probably good, and the chamber was good. So after that, it was all gravy. I put another 5 rounds in just for the hell of it. I mean, to make sure that I didn't overdo it. And I started shooting those 5 rounds, and then I started getting the scope dialed in. Once I had the scope and everything dialed in, then I let my son shoot it, and this is one of the targets he shot up. He didn't do too bad. You know, my wife even said, I'm not going to show you my target because my wife told me my son shot better, and I'm not going to let you guys give me trouble too. So yeah, it shot pretty good. This wasn't really long range. This was only, this was only just 25 yards just to sight it in. The next time I take it, I'm going to take it at 100 round range because it's all sighted in. I'm glad we were shooting at 25 yards because this was way off. I had to do a lot of adjusting to get it perfect. This gun is, I mean, this upper is capable of some really nice accuracy. $255 for the whole thing. That's a bargain in my opinion. I got to recommend this gun. I mean, I got to recommend this upper if you want to buy one of these things. The only thing that I would suggest is just make sure that the rails are indexed, line up properly, and make sure your screws are tight, and just make sure that everything looks tight. Make sure you go over your bolt carrier that comes with it and make sure that these screws are tight, your gas key screws are tight and staked properly. That's the only thing I got to say, because if you have any problems, you can call up or email or whatever, Bear Creek Arsenal, and they have a limited lifetime warranty on these uppers. That's a good deal. Now, I wanted to mention that as soon as my son shot this rifle, and I'll leave a link for you can see it. There's a short video of him shooting it. Once he shot this rifle, he told me he's got dibs on it because he's 17 now. He's going to be 18 next year, and this rifle is going to be his, along with some others. Unfortunately, I can't give him the machine gun because it's a $200 transfer fee, but he'll get him when I'm gone. Okay, anyway. So that's all I have to say right now. I'm happy with this upper. I don't care if people hate it. I think it's a good rifle to get. I mean, it's a good upper to get for someone who doesn't have a lot of money and who wants an AR-15 that they can shoot around. I wanted to thank my wife again for making this video, and thank you very much.